All right, let's try that again.
Ms. Holzer? Still not hearing.
Can you hear us, Nina, Miss Faith?
I can hear you.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. All right, Ms. Faith is present.
Obviously.
Ms. Roca? She's logging off and then logging back in.
Oh, they couldn't hear us, so they thought maybe there was trouble on their end. Miss Roca, are you there? I can see her name is up. Miss Roca, can you hear us?
I
Oh.
can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. We're doing roll call.
I'm
Ms.
present.
Thank you. And Ms. Holzer? I see her there as well.
Hey Liz, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I am present. Sorry about that. I'm on a new computer, so I was having some issues.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, we have a quorum with all 5 members present.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any postponements this morning?
We do. The applicant for Forest Avenue is here. And he is requesting a postponement. This would be the second postponement. The first was made by the board to allow time for design review. I believe the appellant is still working with the city on design review and has not been able to make that meeting happen. So they need more time. And this is for calendar number 25-110 at 11128 Forest Avenue.
Okay. Do we have how much time they're requesting or a new date that we're gonna go with?
Mr. Weaver, would you have a request?
I don't know how long it's gonna take us to get.
Okay, so if that's all the same with the board, that would be, let's see, is that December then?
Uh,
November? October? Now let's do the end of November. Let's look.
Okay.
November, about November 17th?
Does that work for you, Mr. Weaver?
Sure.
Okay, all right, so that's calendar number 25-110 at 11128 Forest Avenue. If you're here for this case, it will not be heard today. It will be postponed until November 17th. Do we have any other postponements or withdrawals?
We have 2 other withdrawals. Calendar number 24 -172 at 2033 Clover Avenue, Clover Court LTD. Owner proposed to construct 24 apartment units in a B1 family zoning district. The applicant has contacted our office and stated that they will be redesigning the project and no longer want to go forward with this particular iteration. So they have officially withdrawn this appeal.
Okay, so if there's anyone present for calendar number 24-172 at 2033 Clover Avenue, that matter has been withdrawn. No testimony will be taken for this matter today. And you stated we have another withdrawal, Madam Secretary?
One more, calendar number 25-109 at 5400 Chester Avenue. Chester Sunshine LLC proposing to change use from offices to smoke shop in Midtown Mixed Use District. The applicant has withdrawn the appeal.
Okay, so that is our final withdrawal. So if you're here for calendar number 25-109 at 5400 Chester Avenue, no testimony will be taken today for that matter. It has been withdrawn. All right, does that conclude our postponements and withdrawals?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're gonna go back up to the top of the agenda. I'm gonna call the first case. This will be calendar number 25-141. Is there anyone, Rita Davison, are you here? All right, I'll have you come forward, and while you do that, Ms. Holzer, I'll ask you to read in the case, please.
Sure thing. Our first case is calendar number 25-141. This is at 10205 Reno Avenue. Rita Davidson, owner, proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B1 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. Madam Chair, who would you like to have do the oath?
We'll have Mr. Madison do the oath today.
All right, I'll hand it over to Mr. Madison.
Thank you. At this time, I'll swear everyone in for this case. If you are online, just please indicate that by raising your hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, say your name, state your name, and provide your address for the record. We'll start with you.
1 second. If you can pull that microphone closer to you and press the button so that it lights up green. Perfect.
Okay. I do. Rita Davidson. The address is 10205 Reno Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, we'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find much in our Records Administration Office. There was an indication that it was a single family in 1957 when plumbing and sewer permits were issued for one bathroom and one boiler. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history, we did see that in 2008, there was a violation notice to the issued to the property for exterior maintenance. And that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellants must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. Davidson, I'll turn to you. Why don't you tell the board about your project and give us a little bit of detail?
Well, I bought the home in 2010, so I've had it that long. I actually stayed in the home for quite some time. And the home has actually been around just to help people. So I said I'm already in the industry of making homes into facilities, residential care facilities. So I want to make this home into one and make it a safe place for people who are in need. I also have been before you guys. This is my third time. So this is not my first time doing this. And I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, y'all.
Okay.
I have a love for people. So when I set these homes up, I set them up with comfort, care, and love. When these people come into the home, they have a place of, first of all, stability. The home will provide jobs for the community. Also, it will be good for someone to be living in the home, and the home is active daily. It does not, I run my homes as if I live in the homes. I make promises to my neighbors that the homes will not be a disturbance. So with that being said, I screen every potential prospect before moving into the home. I only take a certain resident to move into my areas. Why? Because I was a part of the community at one time, so I care about the community. And I am a chef, a certified chef. So they eat good, 3 meals a day, snacks in between, med pass. I'm very on hands with my home. My homes are contracted through the Adams Board. My boss, Vince, told me if you guys needed to speak with him, he was willing to do so. I have did my due diligence on taking letters to the community and speaking to them about the project. They were on board. I have spoken to Kevin Bishop and let him know what was going on with the project. He didn't deny it. He told us to go ahead, forward with the project. I told him I would need something in writing. I haven't got it yet, but I did speak with him on Friday again, and I've spoken with him a couple times pertaining to the actual project because I'm also in the middle of opening up another business in his ward. So I'm very familiar with him. Also, my family have a background of fostering children my whole entire life. My grandmother did it for 38 years, my mom 10 before she died. So I have a love for people and I know how to treat people. And my homes, again, they're not actually ran like facilities. They're ran like these are their homes. I put a lot of love into the homes, as you all see. The outside might not be the best, but the inside tells it all. And it's ran with a lot of love, a lot of care. And my slogan is there's no place like a Tears place. And it's the truth. I've had longstanding residents in my home. I've been in the industry for 4 years. I've never had any violations. And the residents that I've had, they don't want to leave. When they leave, it's because of on their terms, because they're not following the rules, not because of me. So I stand by what I do. I have a standard, and I want to continue to cater to the industry.
Okay, so as part of the legal standard of getting a variance in this matter, you do have to prove that if you're denied the variance, you will face a practical difficulty of some kind. Can you speak to that?
Can you say that again?
Sure. If you're denied the variance, you have to prove that you will face a practical difficulty of some kind. So can you kind of describe what the impact would be if we say no to your variance today?
If you all say no, I'm going to try to appeal if I could. I have a love for it again. I would just continue to try to open up other places, but I am going to try to appeal because the home is there and it could be used to help people. That's what I do know. And I know that with that home being open to help people, it's just good for the community because we patronize the community, the stores, so the neighborhood will be making money. Like I said, the jobs will be, it will be a opening for jobs. It will be ran to help people that are in need because these people are homeless and a majority of them have mental illness and they don't have families. So I'm going to proceed to try to open if I could.
So let me ask the question differently because the standard that you have to prove to the board is that you will face a hardship, a difficulty. You will have some negative impact on your ownership rights if you don't get the variance. So less about the community and more about what difficulty you will face if you don't get the variance today.
I will be sad as far as difficulties, but a hard question.
All right, while
But
you
I
think
will-
about it, I will turn to the
Okay.
other board members. Are there any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I would just like to see the maps indicating where the other residential facilities are located.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course, I will turn to Mr. Bay. Mr. Bay, can you speak to saturation of facilities in this area?
Yes. Hello, my name is Xavier Bay. I'm the zoning planner in city planning. And so I have two maps presented here. The first map that you see on screen now is overview of the Ward 2. And you could see the proposed facility is right here on the south side of Reno Avenue where the hand icon is circling. And then the blue outline shows you the outline of the ward. So you can see a bigger picture of the saturation, and then you see a closer view here. Now north is oriented to the right side of the screen, but we're still on Reno Avenue. And you can see we're within the 1,000-foot buffer of one existing facility.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Bay.
All right, that is helpful. Do you want to speak generally to city planning's position in this?
Excuse me. Yes, I will. Again, my name is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. For residential facilities, there's a requirement to be 1,000 feet away from another existing facility. And that's really to avoid oversaturation of the neighborhood. And when a neighborhood becomes oversaturated with these facilities, it basically changes the character of the neighborhood to be less residential context and more institutional. And so for those reasons, we typically advise applicants to find locations that are outside of these 1,000-foot buffers. And so we stay in line in this case, recommending opposition here just to protect character of the neighborhood. And we are open to working with the applicant if they have other properties that they're interested in, or if they need more advice on how to access this map, we can help them walk through that process and find a more suitable location. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. Any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, just the usual questions about staffing and the intended population demographics.
All right, you want to pose your question, Ms. Faith? I don't think she knows what those usual things
Okay.
are.
All right. Ms. Davidson, if you could tell us, please, how many people you intend to have working in the house, as staff?
Yes.
Excuse me. And, well, we'll start with that one and then I'll ask you the second question.
Yes, so in all of my facilities, I do have myself and 2 other people. My homes open up by 8 a.m. and we close down by 8 p.m. The homes are very well attended to. We are there to pass meds in the morning, give a hot breakfast, and check in with their well-being. They get a hot lunch, snacks in between, and dinner. And I'm also on hand 24 hours a day. If they need me, I'm always a phone call away. My homes are only like 14, 15 minutes away from each other. But this particular home, if it was to be approved, it would be 8 minutes from one of them. So the staffing is very hefty. A lot of homes don't even have that, but I have staffing. And again, we are very, very hands-on. And I don't have any violations or anything where I've had any problems with my home. You can barely tell that anybody live in my homes because that's how the homes are ran.
All
So
right.
do you have staffing overnight then or no?
No, I don't have staffing overnight, but I do have cameras in each facility, so I can see in the common areas and on the outside areas. And I do have rules, and you can't just run in and out of the home. Once you're out at a certain time, you're out. You can't just come back in. So it's very well ran, like a well-oiled machine. My other 2 homes are within 1,000 feet of other facilities. But again, you cannot tell that I even have facilities because how I have a standard. I run my home a certain way.
And what is the intended, what's the demographic of what are the age, gender, sort of needs of the people you intend to have in this house?
So one of my homes is a all women home, and the ages from there is 21 to 54, and they all get along really good. The other one is co-ed, and they're all in their 30s. But I typically, I wasn't going for the younger generation, but for some reason they just fell in my lap and they do really good. So it really just depends on if they're a good fit for the home and if they mesh well. Because if you don't mesh well with the other people in the home, then you're not going to be a good fit for the home. Because again, you guys can look it up. I don't have a lot of police disturbances. I don't have a lot of crisis calls. I just don't have those type of things going on because again, I set the home up as a peaceful environment. And a lot of times with what they're going through, they are in need of peace. They're in need of a safe place. And that's what my homes are.
Now, one final question. Is there parking in the back? I see in the picture that I'm looking at on Google Maps, there's a car in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have cars parked in the driveway within 10 feet of an opening of the house. So where would you have people park?
Well, it's a nice big area that's concreted in the back. They could park in the back.
Okay. All right.
And it's off-street parking too. You can also park on the street. So the car you see in that driveway, that was more than likely my car for me living there a while ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That concludes my questions. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, we do. Madam Chair, we have a letter from Councilman Bishop. He writes that he is writing to express his strong support for the variance for the property located at 10205 Reno Avenue. The applicant proposes to establish a residential facility for 5 occupants, a project that aligns with our community's need for inclusive and supportive housing options. This would provide valuable service and a safe home for individuals in our ward. While the location requires a variance due to its proximity to another facility and its intended use, I believe that granting this request is a responsible decision. It will allow for beneficial use of the property that contributes positively to the neighborhood. I urge the Board of Zoning Appeals to approve this application. And
Okay.
that's all that we.
No other correspondence. Okay, any additional questions from board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair, you talk a little bit about how many bedrooms again are in this facility?
Yes, that's what I was raising my hand for. It's actually 3 bedrooms in the facility, but my plan, even though I'm going to go forth with being zoned for 5, I never take 5 in my homes. Why? Because I want it to be a homey space for them, and I feel like adults have big personalities. We could do shared spacing, but I'm going to do no more than 4. And the reason being is because I'll have 1 shared room and 2 singles, because I have a master bedroom in here that has a bathroom and everything in it that 2 people can share comfortably. And I just don't believe in you need to go to the full 5 people. I've tried it and it just don't work out for me. 4 is good. Yeah.
And Madam Chair, I know through you, you mentioned the distribution of meds. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What kind of meds are you guys going to be distributing, et cetera?
So these people have diagnosis of mental illness, bipolar, schizophrenia. So the meds that they're required to take for mental illness, those are the meds that we are required to give them. And they are not allowed to distribute them to themselves. So we have to keep them in a locked area. And me and my staff are the only ones allowed to pass meds. Yeah.
You and your staff have experience with this before?
Yeah. Yes. And again, it's just passing the meds. They're pretty much high functioning. So we have a system where we have the med containers Saturday through Monday. And they're placed in there. They help put their meds in there weekly. And if they take them in the morning, we just pour them in their hand and we watch them take them. Same process for lunch and dinner. That's that.
Thank you.
Can we put the legal standard on the screen, please? I'm going to direct your attention back to the legal standard, which is what you need to prove in order for this board to have the authority to grant this variance. So this goes back to the question that I was trying to ask you earlier. And the way that it reads, it's that to obtain the variance, you must prove that if we deny your request, you will have a practical difficulty that is not shared by any other buildings in the neighborhood. So I want to make sure that you are able to prove that, because if you're not able to prove that, we have to deny the variance. So can you speak to that, please?
So if you guys deny the request, how is it going to affect me?
Yes, what difficulty will it create?
It will create, to be honest, the home won't be utilized, and it's a space that needs to be utilized. And it would be sad that the home wouldn't be utilized because of the denial. So denying it would really crush the community, because it could, and me, because I know I can help people, and that's what I strive to do. So with that being said, I know that this home would be a great help for the industry that I'm in. And I know that opening the home would just supply room and board for people, what's needed out here for a lot of the homeless community. So without it being opened,
Madam Chair?
that's a hardship.
Okay. Ms. Faith?
Yeah, I just wanna, does Miss Davidson own this house?
Yeah, I've been owning it since 2010. I bought it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You own this house.
Mm-hmm.
What other use would you have for this house if you're not able to use it for the group home?
Well, like I stated earlier, I will just continue helping people. The home has always been in my family to help people that was in need. So
Right, but how would you be able to use the house to help people if you're not approved
that's what I'm getting to.
group home?
Well, another industry that people does is rent rooms, and I'll just rent rooms. That's all I could do with the home. Because again, this home has been around just strictly to help people that are in need. So it's the perfect place to help people that are in need.
All right.
Mr. Bay, could you speak to the zoning for using it as a rooming house?
This is Xavier Bay speaking, in the zoning section of city planning. Yeah, typically, so generally speaking, in a two-family residential zoning district, you could have up to 2 roomers or boarders. If you go over that count, variance from this board would be required. That review would take place when a permit application is submitted.
All right.
Okay, so Ms. Davison, you understand that you would have to come back if you
Yeah, I
wanted to have more
understand.
than 2 people renting rooms from you.
Yes, I understand.
Okay,
And in the past, like I said, this home has just helped people, and I've rented to families, single mothers, and families that was in hardship in this home. So this is what the home has been for. So I understand exactly what you're saying. If I had to come back, I would have to
if
come
you
back
said
before
you've
you
been
all.
before us 3 times before, were you approved all those 3 times?
Well, this is the 3rd time I was. My other homes are within 1,000 feet of other facilities. This is the 3rd home that I will be opening if you guys approve. And I haven't had, again, any type of violations or complaints or anything on these previous homes. You all approved. Those are the homes that I supplied with the flyers, the actual homes that's on the flyers.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you stated that you talked to your neighbors.
Mhm.
Can you speak to that, please?
Oh yeah, I did my due diligence. I walked the neighborhood. I gave every neighbor, the ones that were present, the letters in their hand and spoke to them about the project. They were on board. Some of these people have been in the neighborhood forever, and my husband actually grew up in the neighborhood, so they were okay with it. I didn't only walk the actual street, I went a couple streets over, because again, I've done this for the previous home. That's a previous home that I've done. So I did my due diligence by going to talk to them and letting them know exactly what's going on. They asked about the zoning sign you guys put in the yard. I gave them the permission to come and walk the home. Also, Kevin Bishop, you could see what's going on. Like, I have nothing to hide. This is what I do. This is the industry that I've chose to be in, and I do really well in it. And I keep my word when it comes to giving it to my neighbors, because I don't need the complaints, and your word is all you have. I run really good homes.
All right, board, if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, I move approval of calendar number 25-141. Given testimony that the city council person is in support, I would say that the appellant has testified she's going to limit her population to 4 people. And that parking for staff is in the rear of the building.
All right, thank you, Ms. Face. Is there a second for the motion?
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca? No. Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 25-141 is granted. This decision will be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter next week. You can also contact us on Wednesday for further instruction, Wednesday of next week.
Thank you.
All right, you're all set, Ms. Davison. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you and your
Thank you.
home. We're gonna call the next case.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Calendar number 25-142. Do we have someone present from K Rose Realty LLC?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. We're going to go ahead and read the case and I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Hoser.
Our next case is calendar number 25-142. This is at 16019 St. Clair Avenue. K Rose Realty LLC proposes to change use from a single-family dwelling to a warehouse in a local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, if you are present in the room, please come forward to be sworn in. And if you are online at this time, please raise your hand as well so that we can swear you in. At this moment, do you swear and affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply if I do. Say your name, state your name, provide your address for the record. We'll start with those in the room.
I do, Ariel Washington. I do, Ariel Washington, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Thank you. And those who are present online, can you please raise your hand? We need to know who's speaking for this case.
I do, Lindsay Witten, 16019 St. Clair, Cleveland, Ohio, 44110.
And I do.
I do.
Lindsay, can you spell your name for the record, please?
Lindsay, Lindscy, last name Witten, Witten.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present for this case? With that said, Madam Chair, we'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that. We'll go to legal, please. I'm sorry, we'll go to history of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. 2002, it was changed to local retail business district. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1931, a permit was issued to change storefront to a church storefront. 1953, a permit was issued to continue use as a machine shop. 1956, a permit was issued for repairs to a storefront. There's one variance actually there are two variances on file. The first one is in calendar 69-509 in 1969. This board granted a variance to convert store building on front half to residential with one single family residence at the rear. And then there's the other variance, Madam Chair, is identical to the one that is being requested today. This board granted the variance to do what the appellant is requesting on, let me get the specific date, September 30th, 2024. The comments are as follows. The appellant stated that the building was damaged by an out of control car driven by teenagers. He stated that he proposed to rebuild the part of the facade that was damaged, stated that he will use the rear half for storage and the front will be used as a storefront. He argued that the building will not extend further in the front setback than the building's original frontage. He stated that he had worked with the city planner, Ariel Washington, to get through the design review process, and they proposed to build new windows and a door. The board asked if the appellant would install transom windows above the door, and the appellant agreed. A revised final site plan was submitted on September 25th. Chairwoman Faith requested that the appellant talk to a transportation planner who may suggest some barriers to protect the building. And the variance was granted with the condition based on the condition of the revised site plan or elevation showing the new transom windows. And this was actually heard on September 23rd, and the ratification date was September 30th.
So if the variance has already been granted, why is the appellant back today?
So, Madam Chair, they have a year to, actually, they have 6 months to get the permit before the variance rights are expired.
Okay.
So they did not actually complete the process in time before the variance rights expired.
Understood. Okay. All right. So with that, I will turn to you, Lindsay Witten. Do you want to tell us about your project and your variance request today?
Yes, I'm here again to request the same.
Hold on one
variance.
second. Hold on. I'm sorry, Lindsay. I skipped something. I need to go to legal first. Can we have legal?
Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that, Mary. All right, Mr. Witten, now we are to you. Go ahead and tell us about your project.
I want to upgrade the storefront and make it look better for the community and make the back half storage. Again, the building has been hit twice since I've owned it, and that's why I built the small blocks in the front with cinder block to try to protect the rest of the building, because it was built in 1929 and it's barely standing already. So I just want to try to reinforce what was already there. The delay in getting the permits fell back on my architect because I had to come up with the funding to get a blueprint, which I have done, and I requested an extension on my variance, and I guess I never heard back and it expired. So I'm here to request the same thing that was approved before and try to get this building built up and get this eyesore out of the community as soon as possible.
Okay, and I will pose the question regarding the legal standard to you. Can you please describe the hardship that you would face if you are not granted the variance today?
Financially, it would be a hardship. Not only has the building been changed multiple times and is right now barely standing, it would be a financial hardship to try to get the whole building tore down. So I would like to try to keep continuing the extension that I have already put money out of my pocket for and get this completed. Have spent over $7,000 in permits already, so that would be a lot of money lost to me trying to get this back in good shape for the community. And then the long-term goal is for the front half of it to be for the youth in the community. Being an inner city kid from Cleveland, Ohio, I understand the importance of the hardships a lot of these children face in that community. So that's why I am putting my money where my mouth is to help this project along. And at the end of the day, make it a mentoring program in that storefront for kids. So I think it'll be a hardship on both ends for myself and the community if I don't get this done. So I have been eager to get this completed.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions from the board? All right, Ms. Washington, you want to give your comment?
First off, I am in support of the project, hoping that this comes to completion quickly. However, I would like to ask the applicant, outside of your financial hardship, how soon will you start construction? And who will be doing the construction?
I'm a licensed contractor, so as soon as
Okay.
the permit is stamped, the first block will be laid, as I already laid those. So I went through and got my contractor's license just so I wouldn't be no delays. The only delays I've had is with the permitting and the blueprints and just some of the lack of communication. So once I get the permits, I'm ready to hit the ground running. So
Thank you.
All right, Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a letter from Councilman Polensek. He writes, as councilman representing Cleveland's Ward 8, I'm writing this letter to the Board of Zoning Appeals pertaining to the property located at 16019 St. Clair Avenue. The appellant is appealing for relief from the strict application of various sections of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances. This is a second attempt after failing to comply with building and housing codes and adjudications of the BZA last year. Quite frankly, I cannot understand what the owner is attempting to do with this substandard property. First of all, as noted in the notice for compliance, they tore down the front of the building and started to erect an ugly block wall within the setback along the sidewalk with allegedly no permits. Furthermore, as I stood there, I couldn't figure out what their future intent is for the property, and the code violations are not being addressed. In addition, this property has been the subject of continued calls into my office and 311 regarding its appearance and the deteriorating condition. Therefore, at this time, I cannot support a second zoning variance at this location, and I would urge the Building and Housing Department to move forward on the prosecution if the owner is unwilling to address the code violations. Enough is enough. As always, I stand ready and willing to assist new businesses in the Ward 8 community. I have spoken to the owner and indicated the concerns of the community. When an owner fails to address the overall appearance of the property, it tells me that they are not respectful of the codified ordinances. And that's Michael D. Polensek, Ward 8. And that's all that I have for correspondence.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions from the board before we go to a vote?
Yeah, my question is to Ms. Washington. Have you met with the appellant in person? Have you made a site visit? Is there any kind of a punch list or a timeline in place for him to address all the issues that are apparent at this property?
I have not met with the applicant in person, but we have communicated over the phone and through email. His project has been through design review and finally passed through that. We were also hoping that this would be finished as well. Myself and design review committee members have been at the site of this property multiple times as well. Not with the applicant, but on our own.
Okay. So the applicant has testified that he has now gotten himself as a licensed GC, so he can move forward on this. How long would we anticipate it take for him to get through the permitting process and for him to actually get up and running on construction and cleanup of this property? My thinking is I would like to do some sort of time limitation or a sunset on date on getting this completed for him.
I would agree.
Okay. So how long do we need to allow for him to get permits processed?
That I am unaware of. He already has a permit in. Do you have to pull a new permit, Mr. Winton?
I don't, but that's my
Okay.
thing. The lack of communication from building and housing has been my hiccup. My original permit was already at the finish line when they told me to get the architect involved. So when I got him involved, me and him also reached out for extension and we never got a response.
Okay.
So now the new permit is in. This is the final step here to get that ball to keep rolling. And then hopefully I'll have my permits within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, you've been through design review, so
Yes.
you should be able to pull the trigger on this.
Yes, that's what I'm waiting on. I mean, that's all I need to get
Okay.
done. So
So let me ask you this, how long do you think you need to get this completed? Because I'm looking at the Google Maps view of
Uh-huh.
this, and this
Uh-huh.
property has fallen into decline. It looked pretty clean in 2014. And the latest picture on Google Maps is 2022, and it's a hot mess.
I acquired it in 2023 and I've spent thousands of dollars cleaning up abandoned boats and cars, everything out of my pocket.
Yeah,
So I am for getting this done.
okay,
Only thing is I can't build without a permit.
right.
That wall was
So
only
we're
constructed.
gonna have you work with Miss Washington, sort of, make sure she's gonna be your touch person.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think it's gonna take you to get this wrapped up?
60
Ms. Faith,
days.
okay, hold on 1 second. We have a
Yes.
hand from Chief Leonard who wants to chime in. Please go right ahead.
Okay, how about we let him answer his question?
He answered 60 days. Ms.
I'm
Leonard,
60 days from permit issue.
do you
Okay.
want
Good
to,
morning.
go ahead,
Good
Ms.
morning,
Leonard.
Madam Chair. Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator. I just want to clarify that once it gets out of zoning, it's a minimum of 30 days through building and housing for anybody to even pick up the plans to review. So 60 days would not be enough time for him to get going on this permit. I'm
So
just
60
gonna
days
be
from
clear.
issuance of permit. That's 60 days from issuance of permit.
Okay, I just wanted the board to be aware of
Gotcha.
that
Thank you.
there's some time constraints within City Hall.
Yeah, and I've been working with
Okay.
building and housing as well because they're very familiar with me. So I talked to them. They said, you've been through all this already. So all we needed was this clearance. So he told me it would be less than 30 days. He said 30 days is the norm, but since we have familiarity with you, this should be pretty fast.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to give you all the clarity, just just in case he needs longer time more than anything.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that, Chief Leonard. We certainly appreciate that. I do know that we have a time limit for ratification and affirmation in place. If things are not moving forward, then I think the process will catch it. So if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I move to approve calendar number 25-142. And I am in agreement that the process itself has a natural timeline. And so my expectation is for the individual to meet that within the time frame of what we're approving this particular issue for. So that is my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Madam Chair, could we just have the inclusion or the recognition that there were conditions on the previous approval and that those conditions are still relevant or still in
Can
play?
you remind us what those conditions were?
Sure. I believe it was just that they would install new transom windows above the door. And is that maybe Ms. Washington that seems to be the conditions from the design review approval?
Yes, it was to have windows on the building, and those are shown in his plan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we should be all set. All right, let's call the vote.
Okay. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25-142 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter, but he can also contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Chief Leonard, your hand is still raised. Is that an old hand or do you have additional comment?
I'm just waving.
Thanks for waving. We like waves. All right, that's going to conclude that calendar number. Thank you so much, Ms. Washington, for
Thank
being
you.
here. We're going to call the next case. The next case on the agenda is going to be calendar number 25-125. Do we have a representative from JAMR Properties LLC? All right, why don't you come forward to the table? And while you do that, we'll have Ms. Hoser read in the case.
Got it. Are we, and just to be clear, my agenda had 25-143 next. Are we holding that for the end?
143. Ooh. I did skip over that, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm skipping everything. So yeah, we do have Chief here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call your case next, okay? So we're gonna do 125, Ms. Hoser.
Cool. Not a problem. Our next case is calendar number 25-125. This is at 3005 Clark Avenue. JAMR Properties LLC owner proposes to use space as a smoke shop in a general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. This case was postponed from July 20th, 2025 at the request of City Planning. Or City Planning Commission for further review. No testimony was taken at that time. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, I will swear in those who are present in the room and those virtually attending for this session. At this time, please raise your hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply if I do. State your name, spell your name for the record, and provide your address. And if you would like to come forward, you can bring that chair up to the table as well. If you want to participate in this case, I see you were raising your hand. Yeah, please come up. Please turn on the microphones by pressing on the button there. And we'll just start right here and work our way through.
Scott, Scott, Mullaney, Mullaney, address 1 Cascade Plaza, Suite 1510, Akron, Ohio, 44308.
And I do.
I do.
Thank you. Muhammad Hamad, 3005 Clark Avenue.
And can you just spell your name for us?
Yes, MHAMADHAMAD, 3005 Clark Avenue. Thank you, and I do. Thank you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Hi, Mesa Highways, 3005 Clark Avenue, and IWAIS, and I do.
Thank you.
Wait, can you spell your full name, please?
MAISA IWAIS.
Got it. Thank you. All right.
And I'm Chief Assistant Director of Law, David Roberts, here to make legal argument and inquire of the witnesses.
Okay. Thank you for your appearance, Mr. Roberts.
Is there anyone else present online that would like to participate in this case or in the room? Please come forward and similar, do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Just raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name for the record, and provide the address.
Hi, my name is Brittany Pabon, BRITANY PABON, and I'm the city planner of the area, 605 Lakeside.
Thank you. Last call. Anyone else interested in participating in today's case? With that, Madam Chair, I turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Madison. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1920, a permit was issued to erect a stores and apartments building. 1994, a 1.5-story dwelling was erected on the property and a 1-story garage. 1970, a permit was issued to erect a poster panel on the building. And there are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history, we didn't find much. We just found that there was the building violation issued in May of this year regarding signs without a permit. And I think that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Can we have legal?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the location, minimum distance, and application requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. I'm going to turn to the project team. Would you like to speak first, or would you want your counsel to speak on your behalf?
Madam Chair,
Please.
honorable board members, Madam Secretary. Mr. Mohammed is authorized by the landowner, who is JAMR Properties LLC, to represent the property at 3005 Clark Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109 in these proceedings. That signed authorization is in the Board of Zoning file.
Okay.
Mr. Hamad began operating Fly High Smoke Shop at the 3005 Clark Avenue address as a sole proprietorship, and that was starting in 2018. There has been paperwork and exhibits that have been presented to the board, and Exhibit A in that packet is evidence of Mr. Hamad's operations beginning back in 2018. In September of 2020, Mr. Hamad formed Fly High LLC as registered with the Secretary of State of Ohio and continued to operate the smoke shop at the same address, 3005 Clark Avenue, and operates that to the present day. Documents of the organization for Fly High LLC from the Ohio Secretary of State are included in the Board of Zoning file. Mr. Hamad's smoke shop sells a variety of smoke and vape products. Exhibit B, which is contained in the packet provided to the board, is current photos of the products that are offered for sale in the store. Mr. Hamad keeps his store well kept, clean, and tastefully decorated. That is identified in the Exhibit B photographs. During the entire tenure of Mr. Hamad's operations, his smoke shop has operated within the law in the sale and distribution of smoke and vape products. The store does not permit underage sale and does not sell or offer for sale any illegal substances. The smoke shop has never been the subject of any illegal activity, unrest, or loitering. Mr. Hamad, as owner, has engaged in and participated in community betterment projects and has always been respectful to his immediate neighbors as well as any other businesses in that area. To that end, attached as Exhibit C is a letter from Miss Emily Lee, PhD, CHES, who's the Executive Director of Metro West, attesting to the good character of Mr. Hamad and his continued operations to Metro West and Clark Avenue communities and businesses. And for the record, if the board would be supportive, I'd like to read that letter from Miss Emily Lee into the record.
So, we do have someone from Metro West here who is able to testify.
Okay.
We do have the letter here before us in the board, and just so the record is clear, there is a letter from Emily Lee, PhD, and she does write to express her firm support. So you can continue with the rest of your commentary.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
The ordinances applicable to the smoke vape businesses was enacted in April of 2025, which was 7 years after Fly High was already operating for business. The continued operation of Fly High Smoke Shop will not be detrimental to the community, and in fact will be of continued service to the Metro West community. If, on the other hand, if Fly High is forced to cease operations, the Clark Avenue community will have another empty storefront, which is of no benefit to anyone. A community meeting was held on September 4th, 2025 for public comment on the continued existence of the smoke shop. There were no voices in opposition to the requested variance. Attached as Exhibit D to the packet provided to the board is a copy of the community support petition that is in support of Mr. Hamad's business. And I actually have with me today to provide the board additional signatures that have since been obtained in support of Mr. Hamad's Fly High Smoke Shop. And I can present that to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you for that. And just for the record, we do have Exhibit D, which contains approximately 28 signatures in support of Fly High Smoke Shop. And then I'm looking at an additional community support petition, which appears to contain an additional maybe 11 signatures in support of Fly High. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Furthermore, I would like to identify as an Exhibit E, which is not part of the board's packet, but what I brought with me today, a couple letters from different community members. One is from Miss Darlene Anguino, LPN, and also another letter from Tammy Egerton Troop and Mark Troop, who are community members and longstanding or customers of the smoke shop. And to summarize these letters for the board, it speaks to Mr. Hamad's business being in business since 2018. And at that time, he was the only smoke vape shop that was operating in that area. And these customers and community members expressed that Mr. Hamad is not just a business owner, he's also a valued member of the community that operates a legitimate business. And Mr. Hamad is invested not only in his business, but he's invested in the community. And I'd like to present these to the board for their consideration. Oh, you do have those.
Okay, and so allow the record to reflect, we do have letters from Darlene Aquino, who gives us a very personal story about her experience with Fly High Vape Shop. She goes on to state that this is not just a business, it's an asset to our community, and she does express support for Fly High. We also have the letter from Tammy Egerton Troop and Mark Troop. They also, have very good things to say about Fly High Smoke Shop. And they do provide emphasis that they have been a customer of nearly 5 years and that they support the business. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Approving the continued operation of Mr. Hamad's Smoke Shop will not add to the congestion of smoke or vape shops in the greater Cleveland area. Since his shop is not a new business, but is instead has been operating since 2018 at that location. And to speak also to the legal requirements that had mentioned, obviously, if this variance is not granted, it would provide a extreme practical difficulty, not only to Mr. Hamad, he'd have to uproot a business that he's been successfully operating in the community since 2018, but also to the property owner, which is JAMR Properties LLC, in trying to, deal with losing a long time and very reputable and well-received tenant, which would provide financial difficulties. And certainly that would be a deprivation of a substantial privacy right to the business owner, the property owner, not to mention the business owner with that financial hardship. Certainly the purpose of the statute that was enacted is to protect the neighborhoods from negative secondary effects. That's a primary purpose. As you've seen from the letters that have been presented and the support from the community, that's not a concern in this particular matter because Mr. Hamad's running a reputable business that is obviously very well received, very loved in the community. Not to mention, he himself is become a friend of the community in order to help build up that community, not only by having his business there, but also to support other endeavors in the community and the people that are residents there and invested in that particular neighborhood.
Does that conclude your comment?
Yes, Madam Chair. at this
Okay,
time.
I'll turn to you. Do you want to give any comment or do you want to rest on your attorney's comment?
Yeah, just on him.
Okay, and what about you?
Rest on his time.
Okay, very good. Ms. Pabon?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, so as legislation states, there are a few buffers that affect smoke shops. And it's every 2 miles that a smoke shop cannot be within another smoke shop, and other adjacent buffers, like 2 smoke shops can't be in the same building, and then 500 feet versus other recreation schools, other types of child focused or rearing. And unfortunately, this is one of those smoke shops that falls within the buffer of multiple smoke shops, not just one. And this is just something moving forward that we're trying to fix, as we noticed that smoke shops are becoming a growing problem, not only just in Clark Fulton, but just citywide, nationwide. Smoke shops are just popping up everywhere. And I did attend the community meeting that happened towards the comment that no opposition. There weren't any community members. There were three members of the city, including myself, note takers for Ward 14, which is, I highly recommend every ward do that. I think that was fantastic. The owners, of course, and the CDC were there for discussion. It was fruitful. I brought the legislation papers and we discussed why this variance is needed and why the city now is not in support of a smoke shop.
Okay, understood. Chief, I'll turn to you.
I would just like to commend the attorney on a fine presentation. If this were the legislature, I think you'd be winning the case. But what we're looking at are variances, and variances are because there's something particular and unique to your parcel. And we have heard no evidence, Madam Chair, that there's anything unique to this storefront. It's like every other storefront. Entrepreneur wants to put a smoke shop in it. They're not allowed within the pink areas. They're just not allowed. Now, also, tremendous sympathy. You've been running this since 2018. And when the law changed, you didn't come down and get your certificate, which would mean you're the center of one of those pink ones. And no one could come in near you because then there's too many. But you didn't do that. Someone else did. More than one, someone else did. And so they got in early. And then when you come down, now you're too much saturation. And the city is deeply concerned about the smoke shops. They sell not only tobacco products, which is a health risk, but there's secondary effects, and there's other products that are unregulated that are sold in smoke shops. deeply concerned about those available to children. That's particularly why the legislation says not near a school, not near a park. And so we oppose the saturation. No shade on you for running an excellent shop. Also point out, you could have a store and succeed without selling the smoke shop products. So I think an entrepreneur like you, well regarded by the community, a good businessman, I think you don't have the substantial hardship for the economics because you can continue and thrive without selling the smoke shop products. So we would ask the board to deny the requested variance.
So just one question, Chief. Is there any concern for your department in terms of there being any retroactive application of this law, considering this business has been operating since 2018?
No. Sympathy, but no. The law was passed and it said there's not to be saturation, and that created the competition. First in creates the saturation. Later people coming in. You're going to see many more of these smoke shop variances. You've already seen several. And so all kinds of entrepreneurs are going to want to get into the pink areas. The pink areas are no longer allowed. And so it's not a concern from a legal point of view.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Bay, can you speak to the saturation, please?
I can. I do also see that Shannon Leonard's hand is up. I'll allow her to speak first.
Chief, please chime in.
Madam Chair, Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator. I do want to make clear that any business in the city of Cleveland requires an occupancy permit. And so the applicant would have needed to secure an occupancy permit for a smoke shop when they decided to convert their shop 8 years ago or 7 years ago to a smoke shop. So that's a requirement across the city to obtain a certificate of occupancy when you change the use of a property. And that's been in place since, I believe, the 90s. And prior to that, I believe it was a certificate of compliance.
Okay, and so is it your testimony that there has been no certificate of occupancy acquired by this business?
You can let Xavier answer his question and I can look that up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, hello again. My name is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. So on the screen here, you see a citywide view of smoke shops. Our particular location is nested in the Clark Fulton neighborhood where the hand icon is circling. And next up, I have a closer view. Here's the proposed location as presented as a blue square. And on screen, you see the three closest existing smoke shops, but I can tell you that this property is located within 2 miles of 6 other existing legally established smoke shops. That is including the one that was heard a few months ago on Clark Avenue. This view here shows you a bit closer view of the neighborhood. You can see the two that they're the closest to along Fulton Ave and West 25th Street. They're just outside of the 500-foot buffer from existing schools, but you can see the area is basically surrounded by public education. I think Walton Elementary is where my hand is over, and then there's also Lincoln West High School down here. And then there's one more school I'm aware of that's just north of St. Rocco. That gives you an overview of the map.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
I do have a email from Councilwoman Jasmine Santana. She stated that she is in support. She states that they were one of the first vape shops in the area and have been wonderful partners in the community. And that's all the correspondence that we have.
Okay, thank you for that. We've heard a number of commentary. Do you want to reply to anything that you've heard?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay.
With respect to the comments as far as the occupancy permit, I know that Mr. Hamad, when he initially set up his business, he went to other council. He had set up his business and tried to go through the proper means and the proper channels in order to make sure everything was done the right way, and believed that to be the case when he opened up his business and began operations. Obviously, one of our biggest concern is the fact that this statute has a retroactive effect, as you had mentioned, Madam Chair. that Mr. Hamad has been operating his business for 7 years. And that business was fine being operated until April 2025, when this new ordinance went into effect. And at the time that he began operating, he was the only vape shop in the area. Since then, I understand that other vape shops have come into place, but certainly Mr. Hamad was first in time. And it would be of a definite hardship to Mr. Hamad if him being the first one to enter the area, to have his business operations, to become rooted in the community, to become appreciated by the community, and then he be the one to have to be forced to leave based on a technicality of a ordinance that is being retroactively applied to his business. Frankly, it's just not fair, honestly. And Mr. Hamad should be able to continue his business operations in the same method, in the same manner that he has been operating those for the past 7 years. Obviously, he has the support of the local community. He has the support of the executive director of the Metro West. He has the support of the council person. And certainly, it would be in not only Mr. Hamad's best interest, not only the property owner's best interest, as well as the interest of the community, for him to continue what he's been doing. He's operating a business. He's doing it the right way, and he should be continue to operate his business in that manner. That's the type of businesses that are wanted and that are needed in the city of Cleveland, and he shouldn't be turned away from operating in that manner when he's doing it right.
Okay.
If you'd like
Can
to
we put the legal standard on the screen, please?
I will also just mention for the record, I do have the wrong information labeled at the bottom of the screen, but the information contained in the map is accurate as far as location.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. So I'm going to have the legal standard placed on the screen, and I do want to make sure that as you give your comment, that you make sure that you speak to what is required of you in terms of the showing that you have to make in order for the board to grant any variance. Chief Leonard, I can see that your hand is raised. Do you have additional comment, or are you waving?
No, I'm not waiving it right now. I'm just wanted to let you know that there is no occupancy permit on file at all for this business.
Okay, thank you
Going
for
back
confirming.
well over 10 years.
Okay, thank you so much for confirming that. Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So yeah, as my attorney say, when we started doing this business, we went to another attorney and we made sure, and we had to make sure everything is good and the right way. About the paperwork, about the license, about the permit. So we didn't go just open a store without anything. We went to a lawyer. We asked what we need to start doing a smoke shop, and we went from there. And I agree with everything he say, because it's really hurt my business. Too many stores around my store. It's really hurt my business. I've been there the first one. I've been there since 2018. Since 2018, we had to deal with a lot of stuff. If you guys know Clark, we had to deal with construction in Clark through 2018-19. And that was very tough for my business. Clark, two side, the street, two side. They started this side for almost 6 months, and they started the other side for another 6 months. And I was grand opening. That was in 2018, 2019, the construction. And after we finished from the construction in Clark, Corona, COVID hit. And you know how was COVID with Corona. And we survived through Corona. We made it. We made it. And after 2020, a lot of stores start bumping everywhere, which it made me lose a lot of money. And I was the first one looking to make a law and calling everywhere, because we need community with mixed business. We need community with a lot of business, especially Clark. Clark, one of the best business. Clark, one of the busiest street, good street in Cleveland. So when I first opened my smoke shop over there, Fly High Smoke Shop in 3005 Clark Avenue, no one was near me as a smoke shop. And I made sure I don't go open right next to any other business like my business. The near business was 2 miles
2 miles away. The first people came over here. I tried to do something. I tried to call. I tried to ask if there is any law can stop many smoke shops come in one area. Not because of my business, not because I want more money, not because I'm looking to get all the customer in my store. No, just because of the community. We're not opening something like food store. We're opening a smoke shop, and this is very, 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 very sensitive business. So I was one of those people who was like got hurt from a lot of stores. I'm one of those people who like. Tried to call many different people. Ms. Jasmine was on me with this, and she tried to help, and she always with us, and she know the whole situation. A lot of people also from the Metro West. I tried to talk to them about like everything. As soon as this start to happen, and a lot of stores bumping out everywhere, a lot of signs everywhere, and stuff like this. I was one of those people who complain about this, not because they're taking my business away from me. No, it's because of the community. It's because of the kids. It's because of the people. And this is how we grow community, actually. We grow community when we have mixed business together, when we have a smoke shop right next to a restaurant, right next to another ice cream shop, probably right next to a vegetable shop or juice shop. This is what we're looking to do in Clark. We're looking to grow this community. Clark, it's a very beautiful, heavy, active street. And we're not looking to just make Clark just for a smoke street. No, we're looking to make Clark one of the beautiful street in town. And I hope we can. So yeah, I agree with him and everything he say. I lost so much because of too much, and even I went to those business owners and I talked to them. I told them like my store, it's right here, and I've been there for years and years, and you came over right next to me. He say, okay, so what? So I was trying to do everything the right way from the beginning. I didn't go open right to next anyone. I respected the law, and I'm trying to respect the law every time. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, just also to speak again to the legal standards, certainly there is a practical difficulty as far as with respect to this particular property. You have a landowner that has a long time, very well respected and good tenant that would have to leave that location. And that would create a financial hardship with trying to see if they could even find another business owner at this to try and go in that space and occupy that space. Certainly with Mr. Hamad having operated this smoke shop there and built up that reputation for his business over the past 7 years, that would certainly be a practical difficulty and hardship related to his business. The obviously that plays into how the substantial property right that's affected as it relates to a landowner having a commercial property and needing to be able to occupy that space and have that space and have a tenant in that space that is one that they can trust and pay rent. That's going to affect their ability to utilize that property moving forward and at the present time. And also, the granting of the variance would not be contrary to the purpose. In fact, it's already been spoken to that granting the variance would actually help to harbor and promote and support what that purpose of the statute or the ordinance is that's been put in place.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions for the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, just through you, general education for me as it relates to the concentration map, do we anticipate more of the smoke shops coming into or in front of this board as this ordinance continues to roll out within that neighborhood? Have they gone through this process? Are we reviewing them actively? Or are they coming forward to request new occupancy permits? How are we tracking this information as we go forward? I don't know who would be the best to answer that question.
Yeah, I think I'd defer to Shannon Leonard. As far as the process, I mean, the most I can answer is, when permits come in, they're reviewed in that order. So basically, for anything that came in after the ordinance is passed and they desire to move forward with the smoke shop use and they are within a 2 mile buffer of an existing smoke shop or within 500 feet of, public parks, libraries, schools, playgrounds, et cetera, then they would require the variance. I'm not sure I understand the question in completion, but does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Mr.
Ms. Pabon, you want to chime in?
Yes. Through the chair. Short answer is yes. There are multiple permits that have entered after the deadline. I'd also like to make a note that once the legislation was put in place, there was a period of time that smoke shops were given to get their occupancy permit in place. So it wasn't an immediate effect. There was a bit of a time frame for them to get all of their paperwork in order. I'd also like to mention that there are smoke shops that are grandfathered in due to already having an occupancy permit. So I'd like you to really think about that as moving forward and more smoke shop permits come in through occupancy permit variances. So it's not just the ones you see on the screen. Those are just the ones that we have on record. And there's also illegally running smoke shops currently still in this area as well.
Okay, thank you for
And
that.
through the chair to Mr. Madison, I have an anecdotal answer, which is next week you will have 3 requests for variance for smoke shops. So it seems to be
You're coming.
quite many.
thank you. I appreciate the answers. All of them together collectively have answered what I was looking for.
Okay, perfect. Any?
Madam Chair, may
oh.
I speak just briefly?
Sure.
I
go
would
ahead.
anticipate also in answer to the question, I mean, that's what the purpose of the ordinance is for new smoke shops that are looking to come into the area. They would have to obtain a variance, but if it's after that ordinance is in effect and you have the smoke shops that are already operating, it would work to prevent those new smoke shops from coming in. I mean, that's what the point of it is. So that way you don't have that saturation in that community. And again, Mr. Hamad is different from those other smoke shops seeking variance after the ordinance because he had already been in, was the original one operating. He's not a new smoke shop. He has been there for 7 years and operating. So he would be certainly different than the new smoke vape shops that might seek to come into the community later in time after the ordinance.
So council, what do you have to say about, Ms. Pabon has articulated that there are smoke shops who are grandfathered in when they have a occupancy permit. And we've also heard from Chief Leonard, who has stated there is no occupancy permit, which is the problem, why you guys can't be grandfathered in. So what do you say to that?
Yes, Madam Chair. And that goes to Mr. Hamad's testimony that when he initially set up the business, he had went to an attorney. He had gone through all of what he believed to be the proper channels in order to get his business set up, done the right way. Unfortunately, it appears that with setting it up, he thought that he was set to go. There was absolutely nothing that needed to be done, that council had taken care of everything. Apparently, there was an operating permit that hadn't been obtained that slipped through the cracks. But at the same time, he's still able to operate his business, which he has done for the past 7 years. So I don't think that in this instance, that technicality should have a negative effect on Mr. Hamad and the board's consideration of granting this variance, given the history and also just given his standing in the community and what his smoke shop means to the community. Obviously rectified, obviously supported by the statements of the community members and of the local council.
Okay, thank you for that. Any additional questions from the board? Give me 1 second.
Yeah, just Madam Chair, just to follow up with that, even after the legislation was passed, communication was sent out regarding, the impact and changes or requested information. Can you possibly speak to, why or if why haven't you been able to come in and do the work that was required or requested leading up to this point, knowing that communication has been sent out?
We thought we were grandfathered in, honestly, and after everybody got their licenses,
So after they came out with the law, when I read the law, I thought this law will protect my business.
Yeah.
Actually, this law is supposed to be for grandfather business, because the grandfather business, there's the people they got hurt, because when you have a smoke shop over here, when we talk about smoke shop, we need to talk about smoke shop. Smoke shop, it's a big, it's smoke shop. It's a big like a store, big products. It's not just like you grab 2 vapes or you grab a few tobaccos and you call yourself a smoke shop. Smoke shop, it's a big like too much stuff in the smoke shop. So as Brittany also said, we have a lot of smoke shop in the street. Yes, we do have a lot of smoke shop in the street, but if you go to these smoke shops, probably
And they just let them pop up.
and they just came out like
They're literally all
yeah.
next to each other.
Hold on a second. I have a court reporter who's taken down everything that we say. And if you guys are talking at the same time, she has
Sorry.
a hard time. So
Yes.
you've got to let him speak, and then I'll acknowledge you next to have your
Thank you.
comment.
So we have everything in our business, and we've been working in this business for the last 8 years, like 7 years plus. We try to make this business serve the whole community. We're not just a smoke shop just with the sign and we have an empty store from inside. We have a lot of inventory. We've been growing the inventory for the last 8 years with the community, not like with the people, but people like. And this is the store for the community, to help the community, to help people. Smoke shop is just not selling product and making money. We help a lot of people to quit smoking cigarettes. We help a lot of people, they come to our business, they're having trouble sleeping. They can't sleep, or they're having a pain, or they're having a surgery. They don't want to take a lot of bills. They just want to take a little bit. Like I have a guy, he got probably more than 35 different medicine. He take a lot of medicine. We helped him to relieve the pain, to take the pain away. I have an old woman also. She's been smoking cigarettes for 35 years, and she started with me in 2018. And probably she hear me now. She quit smoking cigarettes. We have a lot of people. They really have an issue. They really have a problem. We're trying to help these people. We're not just trying. We're not smoke shop. It's to help people and make money. This is the purpose of a smoke shop. When they came out with the vape, they didn't came out with the vape for everyone to smoke vape. They came out for vape to those people who smoke and smoker, and they want to cut down smoke, and they want to slow down smoking. They don't want nicotine. They hate the smell. It's health issue. So they came out with something called vape, and we help people to quit smoking vape and nicotine. So when we talk about smoke shop, it's not just a sign out of the store say smoke shop. Smoke shop has to be like, not like there is people in it. They know what they sell. They know what they do. They know what's the right thing for them to do. Also for the customer, because smoke shop can destroy people body, people brains, people life, for sure.
All right, thank you for that.
Madam Chair, just one note. The as Ms. Leonard stated, there weren't any certificate of occupancy issued for the property, and I looked at the record as well. It looks like there haven't been any applications made to establish use or anything similar. But the appellant said that he spoke with folks about establishing the use. Could he explain? Did he speak with anybody in the city about establishing the use in 2018 when you acquired the property? Or was it just the council person?
Well, I believe that
Your microphone is not on.
as previously testified, my understanding is that appellant had hired an attorney, that he believed everything had been handled through the council in order to properly operate his business, both for business registrations, et cetera, not to mention also any type of administrative operating that would be necessary. and that was all taken care of. And to speak to your point, board member, is that with respect to the paperwork that had been sent out, apparently it was a misunderstanding, with the understanding that everything was in line and everything was good to go, that there was a belief that their business was grandfathered in and was acting within the confines of this ordinance, and actually this ordinance would be supporting their business. So there was an understanding that they had been grandfathered in, and I think that's where the misunderstanding was.
Was there any direct contact with the city to confirm that there was a grandfather for your business?
This is exactly what I tried to ask. Like, I ask people, people who come to visit us from the city, from Metro West, and they say this is for new businesses. You're a grandfather. You don't need to do this. This is exactly what happened. So this is why I didn't do anything, because I thought this is for people trying to be in the business, people coming out, and this is how I understood it. This is how I took it.
Okay.
It's this law for people, and I was happy, I'll be honest with you, because it's too many smoke shops around us. And when I heard there is a law, I said, okay, we've been looking for something like this, but I didn't know until I came here downtown, and they say, no, you're not a grandfather. I thought I'm okay with all the paperwork. I have my cigarettes license, I have my vendor license, and this is everything like they ask me to do. As like when we start doing this business, I went to attorney as I spoke before, and this is exactly what he told me to do. Just do the cigarettes license and do the tobacco license and do the tax paper and go ahead and open your smoke shop. And we made sure we're far away from school, we're far away from public park, we're far away from any other smoke shop, we're far away from church, we're far away, like we made sure we're doing the right thing. That was back in 2018. That's why when this happened in 2025, this year, I was confused, and I'm still confused actually, because like I thought I'm already here, and I didn't go open next to no one, and I made sure we're far away from like school or church or anything. So this is the misunderstood. This is the misunderstanding happened actually.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? All right, if not,
Madam Chair, sorry, it takes me a
That's
second
okay.
to get off of mute.
That's okay. Go right ahead.
Yeah, is there off-street parking? Again, I'm looking at Google Maps and it appears that there's a parking lot that is sort of adjacent to this building.
Yeah, it's for me.
Yes, question
Yes,
for you.
we have a lot of parking. Clark, I don't know, like Clark, it's a beautiful street. We have right across us, it's a big plaza. Arizona Plaza, Save a Lot Plaza. We have right next to us also, it's a big park a lot. You can park easy. And we have front of the store parking. You can park right in front of the store. And we have right back in the building. See this red car, the silver car also. So you can park anywhere, everywhere around this building. We got enough space. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That's all I had.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Any other questions from the board? All right, did you have additional comment? I saw your hand go up. Ms. Bobone?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to close a comment that was mentioned earlier by Marcus. And when it comes to when the legislation had passed, you're seeing an influx now of occupancy permits because the health department has been sent out, and they're heavily locking down on all of these smoke shops who don't have an occupancy permit currently. So that's why you're seeing an influx of that happening, of illegally established smoke shops currently running right now. And to the second point, I also want to make a comment on an additional part of the legislation where if a store has 20% of their store space for head shop items, they can still run not as a smoke shop, but as a C-store. And we actually had multiple smoke shops reduce because they don't want to deal with the BZA process. They have reduced and they are going that route. And that is also a possibility that people can take. And this is for throughout the city. This is not just for this particular smoke shop. They can reduce to C-store for just 20% of their space being for head shop items.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, if there are no other questions from the board, I will entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to deny calendar number 25-125 based on today's testimony, but also just the understanding of the saturation map that we did review and the negative impacts, including some of the environmental hazards that's caused by and associated with smoke shops here in our city. I do believe that given the testimony from the city as well, that there's some opportunities for this individual to work with the city to talk about their business model moving forward. But for today, that is the motion that I put forward for consideration.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Madison. Is there a second to that motion?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
No.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25-125 is denied. This decision will be ratified next Monday and we will send the appellants a letter.
All right, thank you for that. Good luck to you. Thank you for being here today. We're going to call the next case. In fact, the one I skipped over, and I do extend my apologies for skipping over it before such a long case. So we're going to go back up in the agenda to calendar number 25-143, and I'll have Ms. Holzer read in the case.
Our next case is calendar number 25-143. This is at 3083 East 93rd Street. Jeff Kirkman, owner, proposes to install a dumpster enclosure in a C2 local retail business zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, I will swear those in for this particular case. Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start right here with you.
I do, and my name is Sheila Kirkman. And my address is 3081 East 93rd Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44104.
Can you please spell your name for the record?
Sheila, SHEILA KIRKMAN.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I do. DEBORAHGRAY. 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Thank you. Is there anyone online that would like to speak to this case? Seeing none, Madam Chair, I turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Madison. Can we go to history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1985, it was changed to local retail business. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1927, a permit was issued to erect a garage. 1958, a permit was issued for interior alterations to a cafe. There's one variance on file in calendar 75-177, and this is in 1975. This board granted a variance to issue a pool room license for an existing tavern on site, and the tavern was known as Joe's Other Place Lounge and Bar. And then, Madam Chair, I only found that there were interior permits issued for HVAC and refrigeration and for the property. That's all that I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the refuse container, fencing, and garbage requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kirkman, I will turn to you. Can you tell us about your zoning request today?
The business has been in we've had it 50 years. My husband was running it and he died in 2015. So I have, subsequently started running the business, and I had issues with the city of Cleveland for back pay on the rental of the dumpster. So the the dumpster was taken away from me. Someone told me that I needed to have it enclosed. Okay, after all these years, it's been there. It never was, you know, it was never was made to have that, but I did get one and I got it done. But then the dumpster was far away from the building itself when they did finally return it because they took it away. And the community uses my dumpster for all their trash, for whatever trucks go by all the time. So the enclosure would be definitely needed to try to keep it together. And I've been cleaning up and doing everything that I can in the area, but I needed to, you all to sign off on it so that I could continue to run my business. I've had to put all trash on the patio, which was caused all kinds of problems, but I just need this to get done. That's all I can say.
Okay. Does that raise any questions for the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. If the appellant could speak to the variances she needs, I just heard that she is willing to close the trash, but there are other variances she's seeking.
Okay. Do you want to pose a question to her, Ms. Roca, so that she can answer directly?
Sure. So the first variant says that the containers shall be located for easy pickup without any obstruction, and she's asking for a variance from that. And then also that the trash area shall be screened with opaque fencing not lower than the height of the refuse containers therein. So if she could speak to why she cannot comply with having the trash in a place that's easy for pickup, and also why the fencing cannot be obtained.
Okay, Ms. Kirkman.
Okay, the fencing has been obtained. I don't know the space that I have to have it away from the dumpster, but as long as the dumpster's been there, it's been in that area. So that's where the fencing is now.
So we can see on the screen that
it's behind the building. You can't
Scroll
see it
you
on
can't
these
see it from these
pictures.
photos.
It's right there. Yeah. See, you see the dumpster on your pictures was far away from the enclosure.
Where the dumpster is on the pictures right now
Okay.
that
You
we're
just-
looking at.
Okay, you can't see it on this picture. The one that you had before that. See, okay, you see the dumpster by the back of that car?
Yes.
Okay, see, it's there, but the dumpster should have been there. They finally last week put the dumpster in the enclosure. And, but I have had, I've had to have trash all in my patio constantly because the people from the neighborhood just fill it whenever they feel like it.
So it's your testimony right now that the dumpster is currently enclosed.
It's
and it's
in
not
it.
visible from the street.
Correct.
Okay, and is it also,
Go ahead. I know where you're going, Madam Chair, because it looks like the concrete slab is there. So I'm just curious if she needs some of these variances anymore.
Right, exactly. So it seems like there needs to be no screening because it's concrete, which again, it's not visible. So that takes care of number one. So then we look at number two, and it says that all trash and garbage and all organic materials must be compacted, and all odorous materials must be stored in airtight containers to avoid emission of obnoxious odors. So the dumpster that you have, is it airtight?
It has a top over. It's not airtight. I mean, they have like a rubber, hood.
Okay.
And then, they put it back down, and then it has a hole where you can place the trash in the side of the dumpster. But
Okay.
that's per the city of Cleveland. The dumpster that I have is a city of Cleveland dumpster.
Okay, and is it on a concrete slab?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and does it have locking latches for the
Okay,
dumpster?
I did not put the latches on. I have the doors but I had the latch on, but it wasn't, I just didn't finish sealing it because I wanted to make sure that I complied before I went any further.
Okay, I want to turn now to Chief Leonard. Chief, we're hearing testimony that this applicant has basically complied with the code in terms of the variances that have been requested. Can you speak to whether these variances are needed? But because based on the testimony, it sounds like they perhaps are not needed.
Good morning, Madam Chair. So it states in section 1 that they shall be located for easy pickup without obstruction in such manner that they shall not be visible from the public street. It appears as though it may still be available from the public street or lots designated for residential purpose. Such trash areas shall be screened. So the screening has been done, it looks like, from the testimony. And then all trash must be compacted and all odorous materials must be stored in containers. That looks like that has been met. And the non-combustible materials placed on a concrete slab. And did she speak on the loading and unloading doors?
Yeah, she did state that it is on a concrete slab, and she states that she does have a latch that goes on the container.
And can we go back to the images, please? Xavier, can you articulate where on this plan that the trash is located?
Can we zoom into the bottom left photo the way that we did a moment ago?
So this is Xavier Bay speaking. Right now on the photo on screen, you can see the dumpster enclosure here on the left where I'm circling with the hand icon. And then when I was taking these photos, the dumpster was located just outside of this enclosure. But from my understanding, the testimony is that now this has been positioned inside the enclosure.
Yes.
Is that what you were asking, Shannon?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out where on the property it's located. Is it obstructing any type of sight lines or anything of that nature?
No, yeah, during my visit, I could clearly tell that it was placed in the rear of the building. This view might catch it better that the apron is just behind this car. So it seems that there's enough driveway width to pull in and out of the parking area.
Okay, I think if the applicant updates their site plan that they provided prior to getting to this point, and some images indicating what has been built here, there would be no variances needed.
Okay, that is what the board seems to perceive as well. Okay, so given where we are now, Councilwoman, do you have any comment that you would like to make?
No, I'm just here in support of Ms. Kirkland.
Okay.
I am aware of the area. I live close by, and she has a great establishment which I have been in to visit several times with other requests that not anything negative, just me to come and visit her establishment and just see how well it's very well maintained. So I know exactly where that location is. So I'm just here in support.
Okay, all right, thank you for your comment. So it sounds like, based on your testimony today, that you actually won't need a variance. So sorry, we had you wait here this entire morning, but the zoning administration does request that you update your site plan to show the precise location of the dumpster. And I think once that is submitted, then no variance will be needed.
Okay, so the pictures that I sent, they won't be sufficient.
Chief Leonard, can you, yes, I see your hand go up. Go right ahead.
The images that we have here, the key is understanding where does the encroachment sit off of the property line in terms of the trash enclosure. And the site plan here would need to be updated just to show that, you know, it's a brick enclosure, how tall it is, and that all of those variances that are listed on the agenda, if she could articulate that on the site plan that she's provided, even if it's just a narrative, and then also explain where the property is as it relates to the drive aisle and property lines.
Okay, and who should she get in touch with if she has questions, Chief?
Mr. Bay would be a great resource.
Okay, all right, so we'll put you in touch with Mr. Bay and he can answer any questions that you have as you go ahead and work on your updated site plan. Okay, Madam Secretary, please go right ahead.
Madam Chair, if Ms. Leonard could articulate what the distance from the side property lines the dumpster would need to be. Is there like an 18 or 30-foot setback or something from the sideline?
Generally speaking, accessory structures need to be 18 inches off of all property lines.
It's a side lot as well, so that would be different, right?
The side lot?
Yeah, it's a corner lot. Is that correct, Mr. Bay?
This is Xavier, through the chair. I believe Elizabeth is asking the circumstances for a side street yard setbacks.
Yeah, side street yard setbacks are generally 5 feet.
Thank you.
All right, so you'll get contact information from Mr. Bay and you can work with him to submit your updated site plan.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank
So
you.
that concludes calendar number 25-143. And that concludes our cases for today. I do see that we still have people online, particular Ms. Grigonis. Which matter are you here for today, Ms. Grigonis?
Hi, good morning. I was here for Clover Avenue. Oh, was it postponed again?
Oh, it was withdrawn. The appellant
Oh.
stated that they were gonna redesign.
Okay, thank you so much. I must have missed that.
Yes, you're very welcome. Have a good
Have
day.
a good day.
You
Bye.
too. All right, I also see Andrew, I'm sorry, I can't see your last name, but from Key State Homes. Which matter are you here for?
Hi, I'm here for 2315 West 5th.
23.
15 West 5th.
Oh, you're giving me the address. Okay. 2315 West. Where is that one?
That's for our affirmations. That's under the affirmations.
Oh, I see. I'm like, I don't even see that on the agenda. Okay, got it. And then I see Montserrat. Which case are you here for? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna go to old business. So we have two cases that are up for ratification. Any objection to either of these cases being ratified?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
I was not present, so I'm not ratifying.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. But hearing no objection, we'll go ahead and ratify case numbers 1 and 2 that are listed on old business. I'm now going to move to affirmation. We have BZA 21-184 and we have 21-185. This is at 2312 West Fifth Street. It looks like Andrew Gottlieb, sorry if I butchered that, was granted variances to erect 2 residential units on February 14th, 2021. The appellant has encountered legal issues with the neighbor regarding an easement, so the project is taking much longer than expected. It looks like 6 more months is requested, and they are almost ready to submit full architectural drawings. This would be the 7th affirmation. That is, number 7 is a lot. So, Andrew, if you want to speak to the board about why we're here for a 7th affirmation, and then the board will vote on whether they agree with allowing a 7th affirmation. Go right ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you. I'm here just to tell you that we're on adjudication letters at this time, waiting for a permit from Building and Housing. So the first building to be built in the rear, we're ready to go. We just need to do, we submitted our ResNet. They requested that from the architect. And now we're just finalizing things with the water department and whatnot for Rodney Wells to allow us to have the permit plans examiner to finally issue the permit on the build. So.
Okay, say your name for us, please.
Andrew Gottlieb, Key State Homes.
Gottlieb. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't continue to butcher it. Okay, any questions from the board in regards to this affirmation for the 7th request?
Madam Chair, this was a highly contentious case. And Mr. Gottlieb and the neighbor have been through a lot of discussion regarding it. So while 7 seems a lot, it is a case that had some extenuating circumstances.
Okay, sounds like you have no opposition to that. Any other board members have questions or comments regarding the affirmation? All right, is there any objection to the affirmation?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, so it sounds like we have no objection. So calendars number 21-184 and 21-185 will be affirmed, and 6 more months will be given for these matters.
Thank
All
you.
right, you're very welcome, Mr. Gottlieb. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, I'm going to go to the next matter in old business. This is a request for reinstatement. We did have a case that was dismissed on Monday, August 25th, due to the appellant's unexplained absence. It looks like the appellant did contact us later after the hearing to state that he had a family emergency and he was unable to make the hearing. He is now asking for a reinstatement. And this is in regards to an appeal of violation number V2501871 that was issued June 30, 2025. Is there any objection from the board in terms of reinstating this case?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, hearing no objection, we'll go ahead and reinstate this case. So calendar number 25-129 will be placed back on an agenda in the near future. Do we want to identify a date at this time, Madam Secretary?
Sure. I think October 20th would work best for our office.
Okay, so we'll place calendar number 25-129 back on the agenda for October 20th. And that concludes our old business. It is now 11:30 a.m. and I will adjourn. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Ooh.